Good afternoon. It's rare that the weather in this country stays the same for long, so once again we can expect a change taking place, at least in England, from this hot and sultry weather. That change should take place later on Wednesday, but there's a certain amount of uncertainty in it. Certainly we expect it cooler by the end of the week, and it'll be a thundery breakdown from the south. The question is, how far north will that thundery rain come? And we'll cover it as best we can, but we certainly can't be certain. But starting with the first 3 or 4 days, not much change. Today, high pressure is the dominant feature over England and Wales, with frontal systems brushing through Northern Ireland and Scotland. This one, although it sits down across England during tomorrow morning, is virtually defunct. You can almost forget about it. And the next one comes in towards the same area during Tuesday. Now, by Wednesday, it's still hanging around, and we see this low pressure start to develop. That's the start of the thundery breakdown, probably later on Wednesday. But for the here and now, a good deal of the country is enjoying unbroken sunshine, and even in the north, a lot of this cloud is fairly thin. Where it's thick enough to give rain, that's in the extreme north of Scotland. That too is going slowly north out of the way. The only other phenomenon to look at is probably the sea fog drifting in and out of the coast to the southwest of England and South Wales. But by the evening we'll see the first of the drizzle into Northern Ireland. It's already into Ireland, and also into the extreme western part of Scotland. A hot day for many, 25 degrees in the south, but pretty warm in Northern Ireland and most of Scotland as well, except for the wet bit. Tonight we'll see further drizzle into western Scotland, possibly in the east, down towards Cumbria and through the Irish Sea as well, but that's about the lot of it. Tomorrow morning it might start dull in those areas, but eventually that too will burn away, and we'll end up with, once again, a hot and on the whole dry day. Sea fog still around on a lot of the coasts. Tuesday gets even hotter. There's a temperature of 27 degrees quite likely in the south. This is when we start to see the threat of the breakdown, but it won't happen on this day. There will be further rain around in the north, and that frontal system that's holding it there down through the Irish Sea then meets up with the hot and sultry air in the south. We start to see scattered thunderstorms over England and Wales, I would think, during Wednesday evening more likely, later afternoon and evening. Well, maybe a more persistent period of rain up through the Irish Sea and over into Northern Ireland. Very hot still in the east, probably warm some in Scotland, but the fresher weather already into South Wales and the southwest, so the sea fog should disappear. And then the fun and games really start on Thursday. This is the fresher weather behind this cold front, and this is the complication causing the thundery rain to start off with. It should all move out of the way by later on Friday, back into a bit of high pressure. So on Thursday, this is where the real uncertainty is. There should be some thundery rain around in central and probably eventually eastern England, and it will move slowly eastwards during Thursday and Friday to give much fresher and much cooler, and once again dry weather. So on the whole, I think there'll be very little rain for Wales and the southwest, and probably not that much for Northern Ireland and parts of Scotland either. Back to the summary then. One thing we can say, there'll be light winds throughout the week, and there should be no frost. A hot and sultry start the first 3 days, and that thundery rain, as I say, we're not sure how far north or east it'll go, but it will be around to end up with a cooler